Okay, so we're here getting ready to make granola. This is one of my favorite things to have on hand at home. So, two-step process. The first we're going to do is make a mixture with dates and maple syrup. If you're 100% raw, just use dates. And you can even use agave instead of maple syrup if you want. But I love the flavor of the maple syrup, so I'm going to add some into it. So, we're going to get a blender. And we're going to put in 1 cup of dates, a half cup of maple syrup, a third of a cup of water, a teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of vanilla. And we're going to make a paste. And that's what we're going to mix all of our nuts and fruit and everything else into afterwards. So we're just going to make this first and then set it aside. So we've got 1 cup of dates. Because I like it sweet. And half a cup of maple syrup. And a third of a cup of water. And a teaspoon of salt. A teaspoon. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla. It's vanilla day here and the place smells amazing. Okay, so we're going to take this and just blend it in our blender. You can use any type blender for this. A home blender though and it seems like it's getting too thick, you can just add more water, not a problem, because you're dehydrating it and you're taking out the water. So you're just adding more water in at the start. That's going to take a little bit more time to take out, but if it's a matter of being able to do it because of your blender or not, it's not a problem to add a little bit more water. So now we have a thick paste consistency, and we're going to set this aside and we're going to mix it with our fruit and our nuts that we're going to chop up next. So I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to get all my ingredients ready and show you for the granola part. Okay, so now we have all of our things ready to make the granola. Our basic granola is our sauce mix we just made, the date and maple syrup paste. And we've got pecans and walnuts that we have soaking, that have soaked for 4 hours, lots of time. We have our almonds that are well soaked, 2 apples, a banana, sunflower seeds, which is soaked for 3 or 4 hours also, and a half a cup of raisins. Now, I like to add lots of things when I make granola, and if you want the simple version, just add that, but of course I have to go all out and do the deluxe version. So, and that is going to include half a cup of coconut, half a cup of pineapple. If you have it already dried and chopped up, that's fine. This was fresh pineapple. And a tablespoon or 2 of cinnamon and a tablespoon of orange zest. I'm just back from draining and rinsing my nuts and seeds, and now I've over accounted for the almonds expanding, and I've got over a cup here, about 1 1/3 cups. I'm going to put those in. Because when we soak a cup of almonds, they're going to expand. It's going to become about 1 1/3 cups. And I had my almonds soaking in a jar in the fridge, and I'm just using those ones. So they're going to go in my processor, and my walnuts and pecans are going in the processor, and sunflower seeds are going in the processor. Now I'm very fortunate to be working here in the Rawlicious kitchen, where we have great things to work with, like this industrial size food processor, so I can do everything all at once. But you may at home, if you have a smaller food processor like I do at home, you may need to do it in 2 batches. So not a problem. Everything just needs to get ground down to a coarse size. I will show you. That's it. We don't want to over process it. I thought I was going to scrape it down and do it again, but I have to be very careful not to over process. So we're going to put all this into our big bowl. Okay, so you can see in here, nice coarse chunks. So that's our walnuts, sunflower seeds, almonds, and pecans. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. Now what I'm going to do, and actually I don't even need to wash my food processor. I'm just going to stick it back, and I am going to peel and take the seeds out of my apples, and then I'm going to process those with the raisins until they're just broken up a bit, and add those to my mixture. You're amazed at how fast I am doing this, aren't you? Okay, so that's done. All the cores and seeds are out of them. Cut them in half a little bit. I'm going to put them in the processor. That and the raisins. Lid on. And I'm going to pulse chop it. When you pulse chop it, gives time for the heavy things to fall down to the bottom. There. You're going to get chunks of everything. Now I'm going to add those to my mixture in my bowl. That's the end of our processing, so we can go into the sink now. And most of the raisins got cut in half or quarter. Just a few full ones, that's fine. You could do it a little bit more if you don't like chunks of raisins in it, but most people like the raisins. I know of one or two people who don't, one in particular. Okay, so half a cup of coconut. These are all of our extra things. Half a cup of pineapple. I love pineapple. 1 tablespoon of orange zest. I might have a little bit more. It might be a tablespoon. Look how pretty that is. I want half a cup of dried cranberries. I was just thinking of the color, and they just add a great color in there. That was a little bit of the maple syrup that was in that measuring cup. And measuring spoons. I want 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. And actually I'm going to add a pinch of salt extra just to bring out the flavor. Oh yeah, we put some in the sauce, so that's why it wasn't in the recipe. That's okay, it's going to be all good. Stir it all together. Oh, our banana didn't go in. Wow. We're not going to redo this. What we're going to do, this could happen to you one day in the kitchen too. Our food processor is going back. And just to make it quick, you could chop it up into little chunks, or you could just put it in the processor. There we go. And our banana. Granola is one of those kind of anything goes recipes. Just whatever you're feeling at the time, whatever you happen to have on hand in the kitchen is what you can put into it. And I'm going to get a spoon because it's stiffer than the spatula to stir. Really mix it up well. Okay, and now we're going to put our date and maple syrup paste we had sitting aside in with it. Yeah, so you just have to put a whole bunch of nuts and seeds and some fruit together in there, and a date and maple syrup paste. You're on your way to a delicious granola. Okay, mix it all up. It really smells amazing. Very, very satisfying thing to make. You can get really creative with it, and so it just feels good doing that. And your hands in it, spreading it, and you're putting lots of love and good energy into it. It just tastes so amazing when it's done. So our final step is going to be getting a dehydrator sheet with a Teflex sheet on it. And then we're going to spread it out. Just put a couple spoonfuls on here. And spread it out loosely, but we're just going to break it apart and let it crumble in our when it's dry, we're just going to kind of break it apart and store it in a container. But it's nice when you have chunks that are kind of stuck together. So flatten it a little bit, but we want it kind of chunky. Yeah, not too much, not too close together. This is when it really pays to have one of the big Excaliburs, so you can double the recipe and make lots and spread it out nicely. And that's spread out about perfectly. So we're going to put it on for 4 to 6 hours, or even 8 hours if you want to leave it overnight, that's fine. Anywhere between 4 and 8 hours is good. We're going to put it in the dehydrator at 115 degrees. Then we're going to get another screen on top, which I'm not really going to do because I don't want to get dirty and wash extra dishes. So, but you're going to press this on, you're going to hold them together, and then you're going to flip it. And after 4 to 8 hours, this is going to be dehydrated and kind of stuck a little bit onto the Teflex sheet. So when you flip it, it's going to stay in there. And then after you flip it, you're going to peel off the Teflex sheet off the top part, and you're going to put it back in the dehydrator and let it dehydrate for another 4 to 8 hours. If you left it for 4 the first time, then you'll do 8 the second time. And if you left it for 8 the first time, you'll do 4 for the second time. So it's roughly 12 hours, and it depends on how wet your nuts and seeds are too, because sometimes you want it for even longer than that. So you're gonna have to judge it when you turn it over. What you want is it dry and crispy. So it's gonna store well. With less water, less moisture content in it, the longer it's gonna store. So you dehydrate it, and then after you take it out, you just break it up, put it into, I like a nice glass container to store it in because it's so beautiful and it's just nice sitting on the counter. Put it in a nice glass container, and when you're going to eat it, you just crumple it up into a bowl, cover it with almond milk, a little bit of maple syrup and agave if you like, and maybe a cut up banana on top, and it's absolutely delicious. Also makes a great snack or trail mix for you to carry in a bag of it around wherever you go. And trust me, it will not last for long. It's delicious. Granola Deluxe.